Hello, this is Mr. B, and welcome back to Music Notes. On this episode, you're going to learn, and I'm going to teach you how to make a mix template in Studio One. This will be really important and easy way to mix your songs and make them sound clean, polished, and listenable on like a good system. Okay, so here we have an empty Studio One session. Okay. Is that we are going to add tracks. Now we're going to add tracks that are like usually relative to the songs that we make, but they can obviously be adjusted as needed. So first things first, come over here to this plus sign right here. Okay, add tracks, and we are going to add audio tracks, and let's add quite a few. Let's just start with our drums. We're just gonna make a bunch of tracks for drums, and we're gonna put them all together in what we call a drum bus. Okay, so we got the kick, the snare, the hi-hat, toms, percussion 1, percussion 2, percussion 3, and that's about 8 tracks. So let's just start off with 8 tracks. We can always add or take away as needed, and drums are red, so we're going to color code everything already so that it'll be red. All you have to do is, let's see, double click on the color, but mine's not. Oh, turn off auto color. Okay, and then boom, there we go. Let's zoom back in over here. And I'm just gonna title them drums, but we will be changing those later. So first thing that we're doing is that we are creating all of the tracks. Okay, now look, here are our 8 tracks. Okay, so something that is very important, we are going to come to this little options. It looks like a little wrench. Select that, go down to track icons, enable that. And then right here is where we can put pictures of whatever tracks that we are working with. So in capitals, make sure you do this in capital letters. First thing I'm going to put is a kick. So I'll put kick 1. Now I put 1 or 2 because sometimes we have multiple tracks. So I'm just going to leave that as kick 1. And now I'm going to put a snare 1. And then hats 1. And hats 2. All right. And then we're going to put snare 2. Sometimes we have like a side stick or another snare. So that's always really cool to have additional snare. Okay, so next, I'm going to move this one up here by snare 1, kick 1, snare 1, snare 2, hats 1, hats 2. Let's put toms or whatever else. You know, I'm just going to put percussion, perk 1, perk 2, and perk 3. Okay. So now let's actually put the icon. So if I come here, select this, and go to drums. Here's my drums. Okay, kick. I'm just going to go ahead and put kick in. Snare 1. Let's see where our snare is. Look, we've got different kinds of snares because when we record snares, we can record them from the top or the bottom. But I'm just going to put snare, just a regular icon of a snare. Okay, hats. Let's go down to a hi-hat. Here's that. Okay, there's a hi-hat there. And percussion. So this is going to be a little bit more random. So if I go to percussion, I don't know. I mean, you can just put any of these that you feel like you could use, because they're very easily changed, right? So shakers, I love shakers. Let's use this one as a shaker. Let's go over here. Let's add some congas, and let's see, they got a bunch of them. Ooh, washboard. Wow, that's fun. Let's add a tambourine. All right, or the timbales or timpani. Let's just go like this. So far, this is what my mix template looks like. Now, the next thing is to put them all into a folder. Okay, how do we put them into a folder? We're gonna come over here to plus, just like we did before. And instead of adding an audio track, we're gonna add a folder track. And be careful right here, because I had already selected count 8 is going to make 8 of them, but I don't want that. So I'm just going to put 1. All right. And we can change the color, keep it red. This is just a bus or a house for all of our drums so that they will go out of audio out of one channel. Now this is really important in mixing. So here is now my drum. I will double click here and we'll type in drum bus. So what is a bus? A bus is a designated channel for a selected group of tracks or channels. That means that all of the tracks that I select to put into the bus will now exit out of the bus. It's like a school bus. Everybody's getting on the same bus and the bus is traveling to somewhere. Okay, it's not any different here. So now that I've created my drum bus track, I'm going to highlight all of my drum tracks and just drag and drop them in just like that. Here, let me zoom in so you guys can see it real good. Okay, so I've highlighted them. Remember to highlight them. You go down to where you want it, and then you press shift. Shift, and then boom, everything's highlighted. Okay. So now I'm gonna just take this and just drag it in there. You can see over here, it's now indented a little bit. That means all of these are in the bus, and I can, or in this folder. I have not yet turned it into a bus. Okay, so I can collapse the folder or open the folder. Collapse the folder, open the folder. And then right here is where I'm gonna actually select it to create and become a bus. Right now it's just a folder. So select this and then go to add bus channel. And now it's a bus channel. This is gonna become more obvious later when we have multiple bus channels, so why it's so important, okay? So for now, since I've got a whole drum, undo that. I got everything selected. I want to unselect these, go back to my bus and just put in a whole drum set icon so that when I collapse these, I'll know that that's my drum bus. All right, excellent. So now we're gonna move on to the next group of instruments. Remember, buses are like food groups. The drums are a food group. The bass is a food group. The music is a food group. Sound effects are a food group. Okay, those are their own different buses, their own different groups. Okay, so next, let's add, go to audio, and I'm gonna change my counter. So maybe like 6 musical components. You can always add tracks in and out later. That's very easy. And since these are the musical components, I'm already gonna color code them blue. Save me some work. And they're not gonna be drums, and I don't want them in this bus. So right now they are located inside of this bus. So watch this. All I have to do is take them and drag them out of the bus. And now they are out of the drum bus, ready to be their own group of musical instruments. So maybe this one I want to have as guitar 1. We're talking about music groups, and when I say music groups, I'm referring to other instruments other than drums, bass, sound effects, and vocals. Like a guitar 2 or a synthesizer. You know what? Piano is always a good one. Let's put piano in there. Piano 1, synth 1, synth 2. You do not have to have guitar 1, guitar 2. You might not even use guitars. And if you're not sure, then you could just put synth, synth whatever, synth 2, synth 3, etc. Okay? I like to make the icons. It's a lot of fun. It really kind of keeps it all nice and organized, nice and clean. So if I go to guitars, acoustic guitars, put this one as electric guitar. Cool, electric. All right. Piano. Let's open that up and see what's up with our keyboards. And there's different keyboards here. So you have piano. Okay. And then we have synthesizer. All right. Synth 1, etc. And you can just label these and put them as whatever you want. Clavinets, keyboard, top tier, piano, pipe organ, keyboards, bottom tier. That's pretty interesting. Harpsichord. Okay. But I like to just keep mine real simple. Let's see what's under other. All right, and I'm just gonna put keyboards like that. Okay. Now, what do we need to do with these? Yes, you're right. We have to put them into their own folder. So let's create a folder over here. Come to folder, color, count 1. And I'm going to keep blue, but I'm going to make it a darker blue so that I know the difference between my buses and my tracks. Okay, so voila. There's my bus folder track. And remember, we haven't turned it into a bus yet. It's right now just a folder track. Okay, select this. Highlight that. Drag it in. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, we're going to call this music bus. And let's go to other. And you can really literally put anything else that helps you remember what these types of things are. And I'm just gonna put a smiley face. Okay. So next is the bass bus. Now, since bass is usually monophonic, there's not too many tracks that are needed. So I usually include like 2 audio tracks. Remember, everything's audio. And it's gonna be purple. And it's gonna be bass. So we're gonna click OK. These are still putting it into the previous bus, so I have to extract them out of that bus. All right, so here. Now let's go ahead and give it some kind of icon, which I'm gonna just go to the guitars because they have actually a bass guitar icon. Put that for these. I mean, one of yours could be an 808. I don't even know if there is an 808. Let's see. No, there isn't. But they do have some cool icons. Okay, anyways. Now I am going to add a folder, just like I've been doing. Let's go ahead and collapse this. Come over here, count 1, right? This is getting pretty repetitive, but we're almost done with the building of the tracks and of the channels. And then right here, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and put my bass guitar. All right. Now, one more food group for this particular template, and that's going to be sound effects. So let's go to here. Okay, let's go to type in FX, yellow. All right. First, I'm going to add a folder. And for some reason, these are getting mixed up with me. So I'm just got to drag it into the right location. I just dragged it out of this folder. We don't want to have a folder inside of a folder. Now I'm going to add, let's just say 6, you know what, 4. Let's add 4 audio tracks that are sound effects. All right. And those ones are already in the folder, so that's kind of nice. And then over here, I'm just going to, under other, put effects. All right, you can put individual icons for each effect if you want to, but it's not, you know, as necessary as visually seeing different drum tracks or different musical tracks. I think that's really the most important. And a sound effect's going to be a swoosh or a crash, or could be some white noise. Could be almost anything. Okay. Now, after you do a bunch of work, always save. So I'm going to go ahead and press save as, and I'm just going to type in template 1. Okay. So that we have at least, we don't lose it, because we just did a lot of work. All right. Now is, oh, you know what? You see, look at this. And this is a indicator because I forgot to do something. Look at right here. You see this? There's this like little gray line, and these ones don't have it because we forgot to put all of these folders into buses, turn them into buses. How do we do that? Super easy. Right here. Okay. Boom. Come over here, add bus channel. This one. Boom. Add bus channel. This one, add bus channel. Okay. And then this is our bass bus. It's really important to label everything absolutely correct. Okay, this is your effects bus. Okay, these are all of our buses. Yours should look all relatively similar to this. Open, close a folder. All right. Now let's actually look at the mixing window. Okay, so now that we have our tracks and channels ready to go, we are going to pay attention to what we call the master bus, or sometimes it's called the main bus. Right here it says main. That's going to be the focus of our first effects chain. Well, what is an effects chain? An effects chain is a chain of different effects that a signal goes in one at a time. So first a signal will go into the first effect. It'll exit that first effect, go into the next effect, exit that one, and go into the next effect in a specific order. Okay? Instead of creating our own effects chain that goes on the master, we're just going to borrow somebody's, and Studio One's really great at that because it has what it's called an exchange, where people can openly share presets, patterns, and other stuff on through other Studio One users. So right here in the exchange, I'm going to go to Cloud, PreSonus Exchange, as you can see. And then up at the top right, this is what I want everybody to do. Go to the search icon. I'm going to zoom in on that and type in YEUE. And the U particle effects chain will pop up. Well, what this is that this is created by, I believe her name is Amy Yu, and it is a rough recreation of Jason Joshua's The God Particle VST, which is for your master. Okay, what all of this does is that everything that you're making or you're mixing is going to go through one final channel, and that's your master. And on there, you want to have the best sounding plugins to create the best sound. And that's what this is going to do. Okay, so press install. It's just going to install it. It's very fast. Okay. Close. And then on your mix effects on your main channel, this is where everything is going out of. Go down to, everybody look at this, because this will be our first experience in using our mixer. In inserts, there's going to be a drop down arrow and a plus sign. Okay, the drop down arrow will give you all of your presets. And it's cool because Studio One makes some really good presets. All right. And then there's also the ones that, I just downloaded, which is including the U particle. So I'm going to insert the U particle just like that. And it makes this big chain of a lot of plugins doing some stuff that I don't understand and you're not going to understand right now, but it doesn't matter because what it does is it'll make your whole song sound better instantly. So once you insert your U particle on your master bus, that's it. Leave that bad boy alone. Okay. And that is for the mix. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is that there is a section called post. That means after. And we need to have our metering there. The metering is going to tell you the decibels, the frequency spectrum, and your stereo wideness of your mix. So right here, we're going to go to plus, which is different from your arrow down. So we're going to go to plus right here. Okay. And let's go to, let's put in first thing, a level meter. Okay. And then let's put in second, a spectrum meter. All right, great. And that's what this spectrum analyzer or meter is going to look like. Okay, so the last thing I want you to do for your master is to, right now it's under 12 octaves. If you look at the analysis right down here at the bottom row, if you just put it on FFT curve, it's going to give you a lot more clean of a display. All right, these are going to be like rectangles, and these are going to be like three-dimensional kind of looking. So an FFT curve is right in the middle. It's a two-dimensional curve that will show you your whole frequency and decibel layout for the entire song. These are two very important aspects. Okay, now I feel like we're good on the post. Now let's go to the main mix window. Okay, let's start with the drum bus. Let's open up our drums. we're going to streamline this process because we got to put a effects chain on every single channel. And when you have like 20, 30 different channels, that can be kind of a lot, right? So let's streamline it. All right. Okay, so on our drum bus, we're just going to leave that open for now. We're going to come back to that later, okay? So we're going to come over to the kick, and the first thing that you are going to be doing when you are mixing is called gain staging. And I'll show you a whole nother tutorial on that one. But to get the gain staging nice and correct, first thing that we're going to do, this is very important. Let's zoom in. So go to plus and type in mix tool. All right. And then after mix tool, go to VU meter. Okay. Now on your VU meter, make sure that you scale it down here at the bottom right to -18. Okay, that'll give you lots of headroom for the mastering process, and it'll make your mixes sound very organized and clean. Okay, this is the cool thing. We're gonna create a chain and we're gonna save it, and we're gonna add it to all of the tracks. We're only gonna have to make one chain because we're gonna save it and then add it to all the tracks. So first we have our mix tool, we have our VU meter, and you can always click them to view them. Okay, after that, we are going to add the fat channel. All right. Now the fat channel, without telling you like too much about what it is or what it does, it is a comprehensive collection of EQ, compressor, limiter, and gate. So just some really useful stuff all packed up together. Here's the compressor. You can see that there's different models, which is definitely going to be very helpful for future productions. Okay, but you can just keep it as is or per needed, right? So now on my chain, I have the mix tool, VU meter, and the fat channel. And look, on the fat channel, you also have these presets. If I want a drum, that's pretty cool. All right, so for example, on the kick. Well, you know what? I'm just going to save this. This is going to be a real basic way to get your mix sounding good. Okay, so I'm going to save this as a chain. This is how you do that. Everybody watch. You come over here, go to this down arrow, store effects chain, and then I want you to call it the gain chain plus. And description, you can put gain chain and fat channel. Oops. Subfolder, yeah, you want to put your name, Mr. B. That's my name. But all the effects chains that you make will be located in your folder, and it's very easy to get to. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. Come over here. Now that is on the kick. I am just going to go down here, and you see it says Mr. B and gain chain plus. And now I'm just going to put that on every single channel. On every single channel. Okay, I'm going to open up my musical. So I have them all on all of my drum channels. I'm going to collapse my drum channels, open up my music channels, and then continue and inserting on all of them my personal gain chain plus. Okay, now that my music bus is done, I'm then gonna go and do all of the other ones exactly the same, okay? And we'll come back when that's done. Okay, so all of my channels except the buses have some kind of processing involved on it. Remember that the mix tool is the first, VU meter is the second, and that is at scale of -18. And then your fat channel is third. Okay. And we'll go in individually mix each of these channels on a future tutorial. All right, so that is the first step, the final step of this tutorial. Now we're gonna save it as a template. Okay, this is actually the final step. Watch, this is very important. Watch. Okay. Go to File. All right, at the top left, go to Save as a Template. Yes, we do want to save it as a template. Now, right here is the name. Let's put in Mix Template 1. Okay, we can have subtitles or description if you like. You can even put your own icon or picture, which is pretty interesting. Now I'm gonna just press OK. It's saved. So if I go to File, New, under my templates, here's all of the templates that come with Studio One, and here's my user, and right here is my mix template, the one that I just created. And if I want to open that up, voila. It's just going to open up everything that we just did. So every time you want to mix something, it's already ready to go. All right. Okay, so the final step is to add some sends. So what are sends and what are inserts? If you see right here on this channel, I've got two different sections. One says insert, and you have a little bit of experience with that because we just put our gain chain on the insert. It's where you insert effects directly on the channel. A send will actually send some signal to an effects and then back. So basically it's like adding a little bit of some effects to a channel instead of a whole lot of an effects. Now this is really helpful for multiple reasons. One, that you have more control when you're using a sends, and a second reason is that you can use that same send to multiple tracks, multiple channels. How do you create a send, and what would we typically put on the send? Today we're going to be making 2 different sends, okay? You can make more if you want to. 6 different sends, how many ever you want. So I'm going to go over to sends, go to plus, and then it says add effects channel. All right, so now this is an effects channel that's over here on the right. Okay, this says effects channel like that. So I am going to turn this effects channel into a reverb bus, just for reverb. A reverb send, sorry. But there's a couple different ways I can do that. I can build my own reverb, or you know what? Let's just look at the presets. It even says sends presets. Let's go to sends preset and let's see what they got. Compressed room, hot horn section, verb. Oh, that could be cool. Vocal verb. These are different reverbs. Okay, let's just check that out. So it gives me a whole chain, which is very interesting. Now that's one way to do it, but I'm just going to do this from scratch. So if I remove all that and I just go to plus right here, I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Okay, so go to plus here, go to reverb. All right, let's go to room reverb. And then after that, let's go to EQ and let's load up a Pro EQ afterwards. Okay, so basically the reverb is going to work and the EQ is going to trim off the low frequencies and the high frequencies, just like this. All right, just like that. So on my reverb, there's a lot of really cool presets as well. And if I wanted a large tunnel, make it a large tunnel. So I'm going to label and color code my sends green. Okay, let's make that green and let's label it. So this is reverb 1. All right. And then let's add another send and make a new one that's going to be delay. So I'm going to just go to add effects channel. Okay. And let's go to the plus sign, type in delay. Let's just select analog delay. All right. And, you know, there's a ton of different ones. You can pick whatever you like and you can always change them. So don't really worry too much about what it is. But now I also want to add a Pro EQ after my delay so I can trim up those frequencies. All I got to do is drag and drop the EQ that I just created onto this track. All right. That's pretty cool. Then I'm going to color code it the same thing as I just did. Let's color code it the same color and then label it. And I'll call that delay 1. And now I'm just going to add one more send just for fun. I'm going to create another effects. Now right here is, here's delay 1. This is where you control the level of your effect. If you want a little delay, then you can only do a little bit right there. If you want a lot, then you do a lot. Or if you want to turn it off, you can also turn them off. Lots of control with sends. Okay. And then finally, I'm just going to pick one that is from this really cool list of sends made by Studio One. What's this? MS pipe, mid-side, vocal verb, vintage delay. Let's just use a vintage delay. Pretty cool. And then right here, I'll just put in delay 2. All right. And then right here, you can see delay 2 labeled. Okay. Now I am going to save this. I think that's about it for now for this mix template. We talked about track creation, channel creation, inserts, sends, and master. Okay, so let's save this. We're going to go over here, save as template. All right. and then replace existing, and then mix template. We're gonna select, and then press OK. So now it's saved on top of what you had already done if you had not saved it already. Okay, well, you know what? Happy mixing, guys.